Hello, guys and girls, and welcome to another Sunday afternoon chat. It is dead calm out here today, so I did not put my microphone on. The stinking microphones. I've been messing up with that thing lately. It's just been, golly, I don't know. It sounds perfect for a long time, and then one time it sounded like as Linda Peterson said, it sounded like a bomb come in and went off, and it just and shut the thing off. And another time it messed up. So anyway, I'm doing this just right straight into the iPhone since it's calm. We shouldn't be getting any interference in there. If we get a little blow, we're going to get a little interference. But there's just a few things I want to talk to you about this Sunday. I've had a remarkable week. I mean, a remarkable week. And I had something last night that stick with me to the end of this video. Stick with me to the end of the video. Or if we're saying some things you don't want to listen to, well, just skip to the end of it and listen to what happened to me in the middle of the night last night, because it's dramatic. It's absolutely dramatic, and it's amazing how God works. But I want to start out by talking about a couple of things. One is Chris. Chris is basically about the same. It seems like the last couple, 2 or 3 months, she hasn't really changed a whole lot. Days she talks really well. Other days I can't understand hardly anything that she says. Her getting up and standing up and balancing and transferring weight from one leg to the other is fine, but she still can't walk. She still can't use that right arm at all. And so it's sort of like we're sort of treading water right now, it seems like, but we're not sinking. We're treading water and we're not sinking. But let me tell you what happened night before last. You know, I went to, I got up early, way before daylight Friday morning, and flew to Gadsden, Alabama, and had a great men's retreat there, a men's conference. I had over 500 men there. My great friend Red Berry brought some people down there to that. Came all the way down from Coleman, Alabama, all the way over to Gadsden, and I really appreciate and great to see Red. I was going to spend a couple of days with Red. That's where I was. I was heading to his house in Alabama when Chris had that stroke 11 months ago. 11 months ago, almost to the day right now. 11 months ago, April 5 is when that was. So, we're closing in on a year here in another month. But I was going to Red's house, great friend. And I spoke at that men's conference with a man named Steve Gaines. And y'all have heard that name, I'm sure. If y'all know anything about the Baptists, you've heard it. Any of you Baptists know that name. Steve is the pastor at Bellevue in Memphis, which I think is the 3rd largest Baptist church in the nation. I've had the privilege to speak at Bellevue a couple of times, and hopefully I'll be able to speak there again sometime in the future, because it's just an incredibly great church. And I never heard Steve preach, but what a preacher he is. And he preached about praying, and I want to talk about that here at the end of this. So please, go to the end or skip to the end or whatever, if you don't want to put up with all the nonsense I talk about. But something happened here Thursday night before I left early before daylight on Friday. In the middle of the night, I'm talking maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, I had a dream that was more than a dream. It's a vision. I've only had in my life a vision one time. And some of you are going, oh, come on, Jimmy, a vision. Who do you think you are? What do you think, you're a prophet or something? No, I'm not a prophet. I'm a poor country fisherman is all I am. And but poor country fishermen can have visions also, I'm telling you. I had a vision one time, and it was an ugly, terrible vision, but it was exactly 100% true. And I shared it with very few people. I did share it with my preacher, but I shared it with very few people because, again, people look at you like you're a kook, if you talk about having visions from God. But this was more than a dream. It was a vision. I dream a lot. Usually I can't remember anything I dream about. I wake up the next morning and I don't remember anything I've dreamed about. I mean, I know I was dreaming about something. I might have the subject matter, and that's about it. I thought, man, that's kind of a fun dream. I dream a lot about catching fish. I really do. But big fish too, usually. I'm usually catching big ones. But I had an amazing thing was how all this fit together. That was Friday morning, early in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe, laying in bed with Chris. And I was getting ready to get up in a couple hours and get on an airplane and go down and to a men's conference with Steve Gaines, who was going to preach the most magnificent prayer I've ever heard about praying. But in this dream, I was praying. I was at the house. I was praying. I was on my knees talking to God. And I was pleading with him like I've done thousands of times in the last year, to heal my beautiful Chris, to fix her speech, to fix her right arm, but mostly to make her walk. Let her walk again. And I was imploring to God and standing on his promises and repeating back to God the things that he promised in his Bible. And I'm captivated by reading about Jesus in the Gospels, where Jesus came around people that were crippled or blind or couldn't talk, or they had leprosy, or they had a demon in them, or whatever they had wrong with them, and it kept saying he healed them all. He healed them all. He healed them all. Many of y'all have reminded me, by my stripes you are healed. And so many scriptures in the Bible that I stand on, that God is healing Chris, and I know he's healing Chris. I'm 100% positive she's going to walk again. But as I was praying and praying and praying in this vision, Chris came walking into the room. And I had reminded God that, God, I know you have the power. I know you have the power to heal her instantly. You could have healed her instantly the next day. The next day she had that stroke. If you wanted, you could have touched her. And one touch of your mighty hand of favor, she could have got up out of that bed, even though the doctor said she would never leave that, most likely never leave that hospital alive. He was wrong, she did. But you could have healed her right then, I know that. And I kept telling God, I know you've got the power to do that. And I'm not asking you to do that. I would love that. That would be the greatest thing in the world. But this is on your time schedule, and it's under your will. And if your will is months, if it's whatever, it's whatever. And it's been 11 months now, and she still can't walk. But I still believe 100% he's going to heal her. And I was praying to God, I know you have that power. I know you have that power to instantly heal her right now. And she came walking out of the bedroom. She was beautiful, gorgeous, and she walked right up to me. And I got so excited, she smiled, just walked right up to me. And I got so excited, I grabbed her and I started crying and crying and crying. And I was so elated and so happy. And she turned around and walked back in the bedroom, and I walked back in there, and I looked, and she wasn't laying in the bed. And I said, where'd she go? And she was hiding behind the door, and she jumped out and grabbed me from behind the door. And I was crying again, and I was so excited. And I woke up. And we're at Jack and Sherry's house, and I didn't know where I was, and I thought, where am I? And it took a few seconds, and I realized I was laying there, and I reached over there, and Chris was laying there beside me. And I realized that what had happened wasn't real. And I had told her when I was holding her and crying, and she was smiling so much, and she was laughing, and she was so happy that I was so happy. I told her, I said, is this a dream? Is this a dream? I've got to go in the bedroom and look and just make sure this is not a dream. And it was. But I think that it was more than a dream. I think that it was a vision. And I believe that God told me in that vision, Chris is going to walk again. That's what I'm believing. Now, I got to admit that another thought crossed my mind is that God was telling me that she will walk in heaven. But I already knew that. I already knew that. I knew that from day one. There are no cripples in heaven. There are no blind people. There are no people possessed by demons. There are no drug addicts. There are none of that in heaven. And so I already knew that. And I may not be interpreting this vision correctly, but I believe that God is just reassuring me, saying, Jimmy, it's been 11 months. 11 months. 11 months today. But I'm just telling you, my child of God, don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. Can I tell you, whatever you're going through out there right now, never give up on God. Don't ever give up on God. And I'm telling you, Chris will walk one day. I've not shared that vision with anybody. I hadn't even told Jack or Sherry. I shared it with Chris, obviously. When I woke up, and she happened to wake up about the same time, and I took her to the bathroom, and I shared the vision. She was smiling just like she was in the vision. And my tears were rolling down my face. I woke up, and my face was wet, covered wet, because I'd been crying in that dream, in that vision. It's more than a dream. It was a vision. I probably shouldn't share all that with y'all, but I've not even shared it with anybody in the family. Just thought I needed to talk to you about it. We had a great week. Union 3 Baptist Church. I spoke there Friday evening with Steve Gaines, and my buddy Greg Quitt set that up. Joey, the pastor there at Union 3, is fantastic. The men and boys that were there, it was a men's event. We had over 500. It was absolutely fantastic. Steve Gaines preached about praying. I'll talk about praying in just a second. Let me just clean up a couple housekeeping deals right here. Our book, our Catch a Better Life book, a lot of you have got them on order. Well over 1,000 of you have got them on order, and some of you are saying, where's my books, where are my books? We still haven't got them yet. They said we would have them by the end of February. The February's come and gone, and we're a few days into March. They actually told me they would be in bookstores about the middle of March, and we're not that far away from the middle of March. But the moment we get these in, we will start sending them to you. So don't be calling us. We just don't have any yet. And those that you've ordered that are not to be autographed and signed, we'll send those out the very day they come in. The day we get them, we'll unbox them and ship them right back out that day. I promise. Kyle is ready to do all of that. And those that need to be signed and autographed, obviously, and there's hundreds and hundreds that need to be that. That's going to take me a while to do it. We'll just start on the list of whoever ordered first and go down till we get to the last of the list. You can order this book at $17.99, jimmyhouston.com, or give us a call, 918-457-5115. And they probably won't answer that phone on Sunday, but you can go to our jimmyhouston.com and order it. $17.99. If you order more than one, they're $15 each. So that'll clear it up on the books. We're going to get them to you just as quickly as we get them in. We are so thrilled with this book. It turned out just absolutely beautiful. By the way, I wanted to mention a sale we got going right now. We were able to make from SolarBat a purchase of about 400 pair of sunglasses. That's all we have is about 400 Jimmy Houston sunglasses at a special deal, and they're the glasses that retail for $29.95, and we're going to sell them for $19.95. Again, you can go to jimmyhouston.com or call that number, $19.95. But if you buy 2 or more pair, I'm going to drop those down to $15 too. I like that $15 number. I like $15. And so if you buy 2 pair or more, like you go with your buddy or buy one for you and one for your wife, $15 each. The Jimmy Houston SolarBat sunglasses, $29.95 sunglasses, $29.95 sunglasses, $19.95, $10 off. If you order, if you want 2 pair or more, $15 each, $15 each. So we got that little deal going. Went fishing on Lake Tenkiller this week on a Thursday with my son Jamie. He actually just took off from the store and went. He never does that. Jamie runs Jimmy Houston Marine, and he just there for his customers anytime that door is open. He just is. And I just talked him into going with me. It was 80 degrees that day and beautiful. The fishing was super tough. We did manage to catch a few fish, and I use that word "we" really lightly. I didn't want to make this I didn't want to make this chat of the Sunday chat too awfully long, and I spent a lot of time already excuse me, talking about that vision. But Steve Gaines, who's the pastor at Bellevue there in Memphis, and I want to tell you what, if you're in the Memphis area, attend Bellevue Church. Go to that church. Just go listen to him preach one time, and then you decide whether you want to go back there again or not. But just go listen to Steve Gaines preach one time. He's absolutely phenomenal. He's a great man of God. He's got a great personal testimony. Grew up poor like most of us did, and he's just an amazing man of God and a great preacher. And he preached about praying, and he preached about Daniel, and he mentioned, and I've read the Bible completely through every year since I was 25 or 26 years old, so that's about 50 plus times. And he said, do you know the one person mentioned in the Bible that there wasn't anything derogatory said about him, nothing bad about it said about this one individual? And I'm thinking, and names are popping through my head, and I even think about the disciples, and obviously Jesus said something bad about all the disciples. He said, every one of you will desert me. You will claim you don't even know me. And they did. And you think of all the great men of the Bible, Moses, I mean, oh my gosh, Moses. And yet Moses didn't get to see the promised land because he sinned and did not display God's glory at the rock of Moriah, where God told him to speak to the rock and water would gush out, and he struck the rock with his rod. And on and on and on. You could just name after name after name. David, of course, committed adultery with Bathsheba, and on and on and on. But Daniel, that's right, Daniel, and I didn't come up with the right answer either. I don't know if you've been thinking while I've been saying this, but Daniel, there's nothing bad about Daniel in the Bible. And one of the things about Daniel is he never did anything that you could say anything bad about, even when they threw him in the lion's den. He's the guy that got thrown in the lion's den. That's Daniel. And you know, he got thrown in the lion's den for praying. That's why he got thrown in the lion's den, because he prayed 3 times a day. That's right. A scheduled time 3 times a day. And it wasn't just saying, God, thank you for this beautiful day. I'm really glad there's no wind blowing right now, and it's a beautiful day. And you got a beautiful week coming here, and we got bad weather coming this week, but about 10 days and spring's going to be here. Oh, I thank you for the spring. It wasn't that kind of prayer. It was like setting aside, I think maybe like an hour a day or something, setting aside and praying to his God, really earnestly praying. And there's probably not many preachers that pray 3 times a day. May not be many preachers that preach 1 time a day, pray 1 time a day. And but he talked about setting aside a period of time every day, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, and sincerely getting in a one-on-one relationship with God. You know, God talks to me often. Doesn't talk to me every day. I talk to him every day, but he doesn't talk to me every day, but he talks to me often. He talks to me throughout the day. He answers things that I talk to him about. He gives me answers to problems and questions that I'm wondering about. But Daniel prayed 3 times a day. And want to be like Jesus? Jesus prayed all the time. The last thing that Jesus did before he gave up his spirit was he prayed. Prayed for those that was crucifying him. And Jesus prayed so fervently one time that sweat drops dropped, the Bible says, like blood. I'm kind of the belief it might have been blood. He might have been praying so hard that blood parted his body and fell on the ground. But praying. And I'm just telling you, just challenging you, set aside an hour if you really want to get right with God. And if you really want God to be involved in your life, really, really involved, because prayer moves the hand of God. When you pray to him, you can't hardly help but move it. Let me tell you something else prayer does. You know, I'm always talking about putting a smile on God's heart. Praying puts a smile on God's heart. It puts a smile. God makes God smile. Prayer makes God smile. But it moves the hand of God. It activates and causes him to do things in your life that's amazing. And I want to end this thing by telling you another little quick story. And this is just absolutely amazing. I mean, I feel so close to God right now. It's just amazing. And even though the problems we've had with Chris, oh God, I praise and honor God more than I've ever have in my life probably. But last night, after going to that men's conference and listening to Steve Gaines preach about praying and realizing that as much as I pray, my prayer life's not good at all. It's not good at all. I need to be praying and talking to God a lot more and a lot more sincerely. But in the middle of the night, I went to bed kind of early last night, about 10 o'clock. And about an hour later, I woke up in really severe pain. I had a pain right back here in my back, the back side of my back, and down kind of low. And it just hurt terribly. I mean, it hurt terribly. And I started having thoughts go through my mind. I didn't know what it was. I've never had appendicitis. I still have my appendix. And I thought, well, could it be appendicitis? Could I have a ruptured appendix? Because it just felt like it filled my whole insides. So I got up and started walking around. And I walked in a walk for 2 hours. This went on. And it got worse and worse. And, you know, I'm at Sherry and Jack's the doctor. But I don't want to wake him up in the middle of the night. But I'm thinking, I've got to go to the hospital. And the pain moved around, and it got down around in my groin, and it was just unbelievable pain. And I just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I thought, I'm going to have to wake Jack and Sherry up and find out. And I also, the thought crossed my mind about kidney stones. And I never had kidney stones, so I don't know what that feeling is. And I thought, well, maybe that's it, because somebody commented the other day they were going through the problem with kidney stones, and I said, I've never had that, but as I understand, it's tremendously painful. What I had last night was tremendously painful. But this goes on for about 2 hours, and about 12:30 or 1 o'clock, I just pops into my mind, Jimmy, pray about this. Pray about this. And I had laid down downstairs. I'd laid down in the bed with Chris. I'd walked all over the house. I'd stretched. I'd moved. I'd tried to do some calisthenics, something, because I thought maybe I'd pulled a muscle or something, moving Chris around or something. I didn't know. And I got down on my knees by that bed with Chris laying there. And I started praying. And I prayed, and I prayed, and I prayed. And all of a sudden I realized that pain wasn't as bad. And I kept praying and praying, just asking God over and over and over, take this away, whatever it is. if it's appendicitis, and I talked to Jack this morning, he tells me my appendix is on the other side, but he said his first thought would be a kidney stone. So maybe that's what it was. I don't know what it was, but I kept praying, and I asked God to just take it away, whatever it is. I said, if it's appendicitis and if it's burst, sew it back up. If it's a kidney stone, I need to pass it, whatever that means. Let's get her done. If it's something really bad like cancer or something like that, cure it. And I just prayed, and I kept praying, and I'm praying, and I probably prayed, I don't know, not an hour, but probably 30 or 40 minutes. And it got less and less and less. And all of a sudden, as I kept praying, and over and over, a lot of times just asking God the exact same thing. And I was standing on his promises. And I realized it wasn't hurting anymore. And I got up and walked around. I walked downstairs and got a drink, and walked back up and laid down. Slept like a baby till 7 o'clock. There's no pain this morning. And Jack said his first guess would be a kidney stone. I'm telling you, thousands of y'all, maybe hundreds of thousands of y'all have been praying for Chris. Don't stop. Don't stop. God gave me a vision that girl's going to walk. God proved to me again last night how powerful he is. Whatever you're going through, whatever's happening in your life, some of y'all are having the greatest things happen in your life ever. Some of y'all are having the most difficult. Everybody else is somewhere in between. Don't ever give up on God. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great week. And remember, I sure do love you.